The grizzly bear bursts from the forests of North America, locking onto its prey in a decisive moment. Successful hunts come from patience, short bursts of speed, and precise timing. Against other predators, it stands its ground fiercely to defend its territory. In the wild, who can stand in the way of nature's power? The grizzly bear is a large, resilient mammal of North America, weighing around 600 pounds and capable of reaching speeds close to 40 miles per hour. With powerful muscles, long claws, and a highly sensitive sense of smell, it stands as an exceptional adapter to its environment. Unlike many specialized predators, the grizzly is an intelligent and flexible omnivore. This allows it to maintain its energy through the most demanding seasons of survival. That is why every time a grizzly bear appears, it is often a sign of an ecosystem still rich with life. In the world of the grizzly bear, territory has never been just a patch of forest to cross. It is food, access to mates, and a boundary that determines who gets to remain. From deep within the woods, an unfamiliar male moves in, trying to replace the old scent marks and claw traces on the tree trunks. The resident quickly appears, slow but full of pressure, as if even the air around it has grown heavier. At first, the encounter is only a clash of locked stares and brief warning signals, but the tension rises very quickly. When both rear up, standing more than 8 feet tall, their massive shoulders and solid muscle are fully revealed. This is not just a display of strength, but a test of resolve between two individuals that neither wants to yield. If neither gives way, the confrontation erupts with high-reaching claws and heavy blows. After several minutes of holding each other in check through pressure and willpower, one begins to slow, then turns away. It is not defeat, but a wise choice to preserve the chance of survival. The territory remains secured in the stillness of the old northern forest. In a harsh, natural world, knowing when to stop at the right moment is also a form of power. Because the mating season is drawing near, and this time, the reward is not only the land, but the chance to carry the bloodline into the next generation. The moose is one of the largest herbivores of the northern regions. Weighing around 1,500 pounds and standing close to 6 feet tall, it resembles a moving fortress of muscle in the wilderness. Its most formidable advantage lies not only in its wide antlers, but also in its powerful hind legs, capable of delivering kicks strong enough to make predators hesitate. Along the edge of a marshy area, A grizzly bear once attempted to press an adult moose into a narrow space. But the moose did not panic. It turned to face the threat, shifting its full weight into a defensive stance, forcing the bear to slow down and reconsider each step forward. The grizzly then redirected its focus toward a mother and calf moving towards the wetlands. The mother immediately formed a living shield, using her massive body and forceful charges to protect the young. But the grizzly did not rush. It applied steady pressure, waiting for a brief opening to shift the balance. Even a single moment of vulnerability can place the weaker target at a disadvantage. In nature, the advantage does not always belong to the stronger or more relentless, but to the one that chooses the right moment to advance or to hold back. In this race for survival, even a single moment can change everything. Across the high northern slopes, the bull elk stands as a symbol of enduring strength. Weighing around 1,000 pounds and carrying antlers that can span nearly 4 feet, it commands attention not only for its size, but for its ability to hold ground in harsh terrain. Yet in the eyes of a grizzly bear in need of energy, it becomes a rare opportunity that is difficult to ignore. A pursuit only becomes truly dangerous when the elk is forced onto wet, slippery ground. There, legs that are agile on rocky slopes begin to lose their familiar rhythm. The grizzly understands this moment well. It does not rush to display force, but quietly closes the distance, using each brief hesitation to build its advantage. However, nature does not always favor one side. The moment the elk regains stable footing on solid ground, the balance can shift quickly, and the grizzly must reconsider the cost of continuing the pursuit. The gray wolf is one of the most formidable hunting strategists in North America. Its pack strength allows it to bring down prey weighing thousands of pounds through speed and near-perfect coordination. As winter comes to an end, the pressure of survival becomes clear across the frozen plains. Food sources decline, many animals weaken, and the pack must make use of every opportunity. When a deer collapses, it is not just a meal, but the result of a carefully calculated pursuit. But just as a moment of calm begins to settle, the balance starts to shift again. From the edge of the forest, an unseen pressure slowly spreads outward. With an extremely keen sense of smell, the grizzly bear detects the scent from nearly 20 miles away, approaching quietly like a force that needs no announcement. Weighing over 800 pounds, the bear requires little display to take control. A few wolves move in to test the situation, but a single turn of its body, combined with 4-inch claws, is enough to create a zone of pressure that forces the entire pack to step back. In the wild, survival sometimes means knowing when to walk away at the right moment. In the end, the grassland falls silent again as the wolves choose to withdraw. Because survival is not about holding on to a prize at all costs, but about knowing when to step away in the presence of an unshakable force. In Alaska, when the rivers begin to surge, millions of salmon begin an upstream journey that stretches for hundreds of miles. For the grizzly bear, this is the period of hyperphagia, a biological hunger that drives it to consume up to 20,000 calories a day. To survive the harsh winter, each individual must build a reserve fat layer up to 4 inches thick beneath the skin, turning the river into a stage of patience and strength. Towering waterfalls become prime hotspots, where grizzly bears take control of strategic positions, places where the current forces salmon to leap high above the water. These predators can remain motionless for hours, locking onto even the slightest movement beneath the silver surface. With precise timing, powerful jaws decide the outcome for prey weighing several pounds in a single instant. As the salmon season gradually comes to a close, the current slows and the prey begins to weaken. The grizzly bear leaves the falls and moves toward shallower pools, where it shifts focus to salmon eggs, the densest source of energy, to maximize its biological return. What remains along the stream banks then becomes nourishment for scavenging birds, insects, and even the forest soil itself. That is how nature maintains its balance, and the grizzly bear continues to hold a special place within that cycle. As twilight settles over the rocky slopes, a female deer quietly separates from the herd and moves toward a stream, unaware that the shifting wind has revealed her presence. Not far away, a grizzly bear picks up the signal. Without making unnecessary noise, the massive figure begins to move, then quickly turns into a powerful charge through the darkening forest. Despite its large frame, the grizzly can accelerate to around 35 miles per hour. Ahead, the herd breaks formation the moment the danger closes in. A deer at the edge reacts too late, forced to change direction abruptly across uneven ground and fallen logs. That terrain slows its escape for just a moment, and the grizzly immediately closes the distance. In this wilderness, opportunities often appear only for a brief instant. And for a predator aware enough to seize that moment, the advantage is often decided before night fully falls. This is the largest ocean on the planet, and also where the laws of survival are most clearly revealed. Orcas dominate not only through size, but through calculated and precise strategy. They accelerate to close the distance, use intelligence to apply pressure, then coordinate like a perfectly synchronized hunting system. Each movement is clean, fast, leaving almost no opening for an opponent. In these seemingly endless waters, which creature can truly stand its ground against an orca? Orcas are the largest members of the dolphin family, reaching lengths of around 30 feet and weighing over 10,000 pounds. What sets them apart is not only their size, but also their strong family bonds, deep social memory, and the ability to pass knowledge across generations. From frigid polar waters to nutrient-rich seas, orcas are present as a major force in maintaining ocean balance. Wherever they appear, the movement patterns of the entire ecosystem seem to shift in response. The humpback whale is one of the ocean's most expressive giants. An adult can reach nearly 60 feet in length and weigh close to 80,000 pounds, distinguished by its long pectoral fins and vocalizations that can last for many minutes. It may not appear intense at first glance, but its immense size, powerful movements, and protective instinct toward its calf make every encounter around it inherently tense. Orcas understand this well. They wait patiently for a mother and calf to pass through open water when the young whale has not yet settled into a steady rhythm. From that moment, the journey of raising a calf in the ocean becomes a true test of survival. A pod of around 10 to 20 orcas follows at a measured distance. One group applies pressure from the front, while others move along the sides, forcing the mother to constantly adjust her protective position. Each surfacing to breathe becomes a brief opening, allowing the formation to tighten step by step. This coordination reflects a rapid ability to read the situation, sometimes creating subtle diversions that make it easier for the calf to drift away from the shelter of the mother's massive fins. In the vast ocean, such encounters remain an inherent part of the natural cycle. In the ocean world, encounters between orcas and dolphins represent a peak contrast between two of the most intelligent marine animals. However, with a much larger size, orcas hold a clear advantage in strength and control of the situation. Dolphins are known for speed, reflexes, and fluid coordination within their groups. In the Central Pacific, a pod of dolphins leaps above the surface, creating an energetic and lively scene. But just beneath them, the rhythm of the water begins to change. Three orcas initiate the pursuit. They divide their approach, applying constant pressure on the dolphin pod. The largest individual sets the pace, while the others alternate angles from multiple directions. Each surfacing, each burst of speed is deliberate, forcing the dolphins to shift course again and again. A single break in formation is all it takes for its opening to appear. The turning point comes with a powerful surge, rising nearly 20 feet from the depths below. This immense acceleration can separate a target from the protection of the group in an instant. In reality, orcas do not always pursue out of hunger. These chases often serve as valuable field training, where younger individuals refine their ability to read movement across the vast ocean. Some journeys in nature are more than migration. They are rigorous tests of maternal endurance. From the warm waters off Mexico, a mother whale guides her calf over more than 10,000 miles northward, crossing ocean corridors where danger is ever present. With a layer of blubber nearly 10 inches thick, she resembles a living fortress. Yet ahead are orcas, among the most precise and persistent coordinated hunters in the ocean. Along this route, orcas do not rely on individual force. They move as a group, taking turns applying pressure, gradually separating the calf from the mother's protection. The pursuit can last for hours, wearing down bodies that can weigh up to 80,000 pounds through patience, discipline, and near-perfect coordination. In those moments, the ocean is no longer a place of complete refuge, but a setting shaped by the demands of survival. When it all comes to a close, the surface returns to calm, as if nothing had happened. And in that world, strength is never measured by size alone, but by strategy, endurance, and the instinct to protect life. The great white shark has long carried the reputation as one of the ocean's most formidable predators. With a weight of around 4,000 pounds and an estimated bite force near 4,000 pounds per square inch, this species is built for short, powerful, and precise approaches. A highly sensitive sense of smell, the ability to detect vibrations in the water, and sudden bursts of speed have made the great white a symbol of caution beneath the surface. But when orcas appear, that reputation begins to shift. Rather than approaching alone, they move in as a coordinated formation, each motion timed with intent. A key individual closes in from a favorable angle, generating just enough force to disrupt the shark's balance. Even a slight change in posture can place it into a temporary state of stillness, known as tonic immobility. What stands out is not the intensity of the encounter, but the level of coordination. Orcas do not expend energy at random. They control the situation, focus on the most valuable energy reserves, and demonstrate a highly calculated hunting strategy. As a result, this is no longer a simple test of strength, but a contrast between ancient predatory instinct and advanced social intelligence. If the great white dominates through rapid approaches and a powerful presence, the orca rises above through memory, coordination, and the ability to turn the entire ocean into a vast, controlled arena. Returning to the frigid seas near the freezing point, Weddell seals weighing around 1,000 pounds rest on ice floes as if they were their final safe refuge. But in Antarctica, that sense of security often lasts only until the rhythm of the water begins to shift. For many marine predators, this position is nearly out of reach. For orcas, however, it becomes the setting for one of the most remarkable strategies ever observed. When a resting seal is detected on the ice, the orcas quickly form a line and swim in parallel. As they close in, they strike the water in unison, generating a powerful wave that surges across the ice surface. The force destabilizes the flow, causing the seal to slide towards the edge where other members are already positioned. If one wave is not enough, they repeat the process, more precise, more synchronized, until the refuge no longer holds its advantage. This technique is known as wave washing. Not every orca pod possesses this skill. It is a form of intelligence built and passed down across generations. Younger orcas often spend 3 to 5 years closely following their mothers and the pod, learning how to read the waves, assign roles, and coordinate with precision. Along shallow sandbanks, stingrays press their bodies flat against the seafloor, blending almost seamlessly into the ocean floor. But for orcas, this is not only a difficult target to detect, it is also a test of memory, experience, and the ability to read underwater terrain. In New Zealand, field observations have recorded orcas hunting stingrays by delivering powerful tail strikes that generate a strong shock wave with remarkable precision. Far away in Patagonia, some orca groups have developed an entirely different approach. They use waves and momentum to propel part of their bodies onto the shore, targeting young sea lions. It is a high-risk tactic, yet it reveals the boldness of their hunting behavior. This is no longer simple instinct, but clear evidence that orcas adapt their strategies to each coastline, each prey, and each brief opportunity. When the pursuit extends beyond coastal waters, the pod begins to close formation from multiple directions, forcing the target to constantly change course. This coordinated rhythm quickly removes any available opening. At that point, the advantage often belongs to the species that understands the surface as a tactical map. In some orca populations, sea lions are estimated to make up about 20% of their diet, showing that this is not merely an opportunistic target, but a significant source of energy. Wild dogs surge straight toward their prey in relentless bursts of attack. Across a harsh, natural landscape, they hunt with speed and disciplined pack coordination. Each closing advance steadily strips the target of control. Even other predators remain cautious under that pressure. Once the chase begins, which wild animal still has the strength to escape? African wild dogs are often seen as the forgotten rulers of the wild. With each adult typically weighing around 70 pounds, they are still capable of coordinating as a pack to pressure prey many times their size. Their large, rounded ears, long legs, and remarkable endurance allow them to sustain prolonged pursuits under intense heat. Yet their most formidable advantage lies not in size, but in the precision and discipline within every coordinated movement of the pack. Impala are not easy to control targets on the African grasslands. These antelopes can leap over 30 feet, change direction almost instantly, and read open space the moment they sense danger. For many predators, a single well-timed turn is enough to break the pursuit. But this time, the force behind it does not rely on individual strength. African wild dogs hunt through rhythm, discipline, and precise pack coordination. As soon as the signal to chase begins, the pack immediately shifts formation. One group maintains close pressure from behind, while others spread out along both sides, gradually narrowing the impala's options. With resilient legs, large lung capacity, and the ability to sustain speeds of around 35 miles per hour, the pack can extend the pursuit across miles of grassland while maintaining steady pressure. What they need is to hold that pressure long enough so that each turn from the prey demands more energy. Near a clearing by shallow water, the impala attempts to redirect toward the edge to disrupt the pursuit. For a brief moment, the surface seems to offer a buffer, but the pack maintains distance, spreads its formation, and waits for the precise moment to close in as the animal reaches the bank. If the impala remains in the water to buy time, an experienced individual quietly maintains the approach. The surface ripples, the gap narrows, and the balance begins to shift. On the Savannah, the difference is not always decided by the first burst of speed, but by which side can sustain the rhythm the longest. Along the edges of African waterways, the Nile crocodile is a threat even seasoned predators treat with caution. With a bite force of around 3,700 pounds per square inch, this reptile can bring down large prey in a single well-timed surge near the bank. For wild dogs returning to a waterhole after a long hunt, the line between relief and danger can be no more than a single step. As the pack approaches the water's edge, a crocodile suddenly lunges and pulls one individual into the murky current. Nearby pack members react instantly, rushing forward and attempting to hold their companion, while others move along the bank to apply pressure. Moments later, the wild dog regains the shore, and the pack quickly gathers around its most vulnerable member. Even as one of the most effective hunters of the savannah, wild dogs can be placed at a disadvantage in a single moment of misjudgment. And it is in that moment that their unity reveals why they remain one of the most resilient groups in the natural world. It is not sound, but movement that signals the hunt has begun across the Masai Mara grasslands. Wildebeest appear like a living wall in motion. An adult, weighing close to 500 pounds, can form a formidable line of defense within the dense formation of the herd. But for African wild dogs, the challenge is not that mass. It is identifying the slightest break in rhythm among hundreds of synchronized steps. The moment a half-beat delay appears at the edge of the herd, more than 20 wild dogs split into multiple directions. They maintain contact through near-silent coordination, avoiding any sudden rush while extending pressure across the length of the movement. With endurance that can sustain a pursuit for over 5 miles, the pack does not need to break the entire wall, only to loosen a single link. As that opening becomes clearer through the low dust of the savannah, the hunting formation finally closes in. The wildebeest continues to run with the herd, but steady pressure from multiple sides gradually weakens the advantage of numbers. Here, survival does not belong to display, but to a strategy resilient enough to follow opportunity to its decisive moment. On the African savannah, lions stand as a symbol of strength and control. Weighing over 300 pounds, they possess enough power to make most rivals step aside. But for African wild dogs, this relationship goes beyond caution. It becomes an ongoing competition between two hunters pursuing the same prey and sharing critical hunting corridors. When a lioness moves across low grass with her cub, a nearby pack of wild dogs quickly recognizes the rare opportunity. Rather than relying on individual strength, they shift directions repeatedly, applying pressure from multiple angles. This forces the lioness to keep adjusting her position to shield her young, gradually losing her rhythm of control. At another watering hole, a solitary lioness faces a similar challenge when open terrain and temporary isolation are fully exploited by the opposing pack. In the wild, the greatest advantage does not always come from size, but from a group that understands how to divide roles, maintain rhythm, and wait for the precise moment to make a difference. The leopard embodies solitude and stealth across the African savanna and forest edges. An excellent climber with quick reflexes, it can haul prey weighing nearly 300 pounds up to heights of over 15 feet. This big cat often hunts through surprise and control within tight spaces. That is what makes encounters with wild dogs especially tense. One thrives alone, while the other depends on numbers and near-constant coordination. When a leopard is spotted after a successful hunt, preparing to lift its catch into a tree, a pack of wild dogs quickly arrives. They do not need to prolong the encounter. By appearing at the right moment, moving continuously, and applying steady pressure, they force the leopard to abandon its hold on the fresh prize. Under that pressure, the leopard climbs higher, leaving its entire catch behind. In another patch of dense grass, the leopard returns, attempting to reclaim what remains while the pack is feeding. One individual moves too close, unaware of the blind spot ahead. The leopard bursts from the low cover, gaining an advantage in an instant. But wild dogs do not easily leave one of their own behind. Within seconds, the pack regroups, closes in from multiple directions, and compels the leopard to withdraw from the area. In the wild, cohesion can be a powerful advantage, strong enough to make even the most elusive predators remain cautious. On the dry season savanna, the African buffalo is not an opponent. Wild dogs can overwhelm with speed alone. An adult can weigh around 1,500 pounds, equipped with a solid horn structure like a shield, and the power to reverse a situation in a brief reaction. This becomes a test of patience, distance, and the ability to detect even the smallest weakness in the herd's formation. As the buffalo move across low grass near the end of the dry season, the wild dogs do not target the center. They track along the outer edges, shifting direction fluidly to force the herd to turn and gradually lose energy. The focus is not the strongest individual, but one that falls out of rhythm, young, slower, or briefly separated from the protective circle. Even when an opening appears, risk remains constant. A single well-timed turn from a buffalo can force the entire pack to spread out immediately. Then the pressure builds again, closing in from multiple angles to limit movement. Not raw strength, but endurance and coordination create the advantage. On the African grasslands, victory often belongs to the side that can maintain order the longest. The sky suddenly shifts rhythm as a predator dives at wind-tearing speed. In just moments, control changes hands, and the encounter ignites instantly. Each approach is relentless, precise, and creates pressure that cannot be avoided. So, among birds of prey, which one truly stands as the ultimate symbol of power? From windswept mountain ranges to the broad lakes of North America, the eagle appears as the embodiment of control from above. Many species have a wingspan of around 7 feet, a weight of about 15 pounds, sharp eyesight, and talons strong enough to lock onto a target in a single dive. But what defines their status has never been strength alone. It is also the ability to choose the right moment, adapt to each landscape, and turn a very brief instant into a decisive advantage. For the golden eagle, elevation is the first advantage. Along steep mountain slopes, it patiently watches young mountain goats or weaker individuals, then folds its wings and drops like an arrow, driving its full momentum into a short, focused approach. In that terrain, height is not only a place to observe, but also a lever that allows even one slight loss of balance to shift the entire outcome. In the rainforests of South America, the harpy eagle follows a different strategy. With rear talons nearly 5 inches long, shaped like biological hooks optimized for grip, it does not need wide open space. Instead, it moves through dense layers of foliage to create pressure on small monkeys and sloths. Along rivers and lakes, the bald eagle stands out in its near-surface fish grabs, where precise timing matters even more than speed. When fish make up about 80% of its diet, each approach has to be almost exact. That is why the title of King of the Sky does not come from appearance, but from the ability to command height, timing, and silence before action. Beneath the wide lakes of North America, the American white pelican appears slow-moving and immense. Nearly 5 feet long, with a wingspan close to 10 feet, it does not resemble a fast pursuer, but rather a calm giant moving through marshes and open water. Yet, behind that steady appearance is one of nature's most notable hunting strategies, centered on the pouch beneath its bill as a highly specialized tool for catching prey. When schools of fish move into favorable water, several white pelicans begin forming a line, pressing their targets toward shallower areas before lowering their bills in unison. The pouch beneath the bill can hold up to 3.5 gallons, about 3 times the volume of their stomach. In that brief moment, the water drains away while the prey remains behind. Even so, the white pelican's food sources are not limited to fish alone. When the opportunity appears, it may also target smaller birds on land, revealing the notable adaptability of a large water bird. But in moments of intense focus on the water's surface, it can also become less agile in the face of the constant risks that remain around wetland habitats. In nature, no advantage is ever permanent. Even a master of coordination must always live within the narrow line between opportunity and caution. The red-tailed hawk is a patient hunter, mastering open space through calm control. With the ability to detect even the slightest movement across dry ground and low grass, it can identify a target early without any need to rush. When a snake enters its focus, the rhythm of the encounter shifts immediately. The opponent holds a tense defensive posture, while the hawk continuously adjusts its distance, avoiding rapid reactions and waiting for the right moment. In this encounter, the advantage lies not only in strong talons, but in the ability to control timing and the pace of approach. Its diet is highly varied, with about 60% consisting of rodents, 20% reptiles, and the remainder made up of other small animals. In open spaces, it can descend at speeds close to 100 miles per hour, enough to secure a target in a brief approach, where precision matters more than pure speed. Less showy than eagles, the red-tailed hawk maintains its advantage through endurance and the composure to stay calm in a very brief moment of survival. Across the African grasslands, the secretary bird appears as a figure both elegant and commanding. Standing over 4 feet tall, with long black lashes and a calm, deliberate stride, this bird spends most of its life on the ground rather than in the sky. Yet behind that striking appearance is a highly specialized hunter, equipped by nature with remarkably effective tools for survival. Its most iconic prey is often snakes. When it detects movement through the low grass, the secretary bird spreads its wings to create visual pressure, then delivers precise stomps and kicks with legs covered in thick, armor-like scales. The force of each strike is estimated at about 5 times its body weight, enough to disrupt an opponent's timing in a single instant. But its hunting ability does not end there. Each day, the secretary bird can walk more than 20 miles in search of large insects, rodents, young birds, and even hares, targets well known for their speed across the savannah. Rather than relying entirely on its beak, it uses a rapid sequence of footwork to gain the advantage, turning speed and endurance into its own distinct strengths. Even jackals, bold and opportunistic hunters in their own right, often show caution when facing this tall and decisive rival. When the dry season arrives, that same rhythm shifts into another role, sustaining the next generation. Pairs tend to form lasting bonds, building nests together, guarding them, and bringing food to their chicks until those young legs are steady enough to step out into the grassland. In the secretary bird, strength does not lie in noise, but in the quiet discipline that has helped it hold a special place in the balance of the savannah. From coastal cliffs to towering buildings in the heart of cities, the peregrine falcon stands as a symbol of near absolute speed. With a wingspan of less than 4 feet and a body that is not especially large, this bird does not overwhelm through size, but through the way it turns open sky into an almost flawless flight path. This predator often targets flocks such as pigeons, starlings, or small ducks. From a favorable height, the peregrine falcon locks onto the target's direction, then drops along an extremely steep path before adjusting its body in the final second. These dives can exceed 200 miles per hour, one of the most remarkable speeds ever recorded in the animal world. In that moment, success does not depend on prolonged endurance, and there is no room for error. If it catches more than it needs, it sometimes stores the remainder in a safe place and returns later, a choice that helps conserve energy during less favorable hunting days. That efficient decision-making is part of what makes the peregrine falcon one of the most effective aerial hunters in the bird world. At times, it also puts pressure on even larger birds, such as the great blue heron, not to hunt them, but to assert control over the airspace. That is why the peregrine falcon's power does not lie in size, but in speed, timing, and the resolve to push beyond limits. Among the giant cactus forests of the Sonoran Desert, the Harris's hawk appears as a rare exception in the world of birds of prey. It does not rely on survival alone. With a wingspan of about 3.5 feet, this bird stands out for its family group lifestyle and its remarkably tight coordination. When a jackrabbit comes into view, the hunt begins with clearly defined roles. There is no disorder. Each individual holds its own position. One blocks the escape route. Another applies pressure from the side. At an approach speed of around 30 miles per hour, they take turns diving in repeated succession, leaving the target with almost no time to adjust. Their greatest advantage lies in talons, with a gripping force of about 200 pounds per square inch, enough to create a decisive edge in the final moment. On the ground, the roadrunner follows a survival strategy completely different from aerial predators. Standing under 2 feet tall, yet capable of reaching speeds close to 20 miles per hour, this bird turns the terrain into its advantage through rapid reflexes and sharp, calculated changes in direction. Its most typical encounters are with snakes and lizards among low desert shrubs. Rather than relying on a single decisive move, the roadrunner draws its opponent into a test of timing and control, constantly pulling back, closing in, and shifting direction in an instant to disrupt the strike. Each step becomes a precise measure of timing. In the roadrunner, power does not come from size, but from the ability to turn speed and awareness into a shield for survival on open ground. After each encounter, the grizzly bear affirms its place as a symbol of the North. It survives not only through strength, but through experience and adaptability. With each passing season, it becomes a lasting mark of the natural world. If you find this journey compelling, please like and subscribe. The wild still holds many stories waiting to be told.